Sitcom. A sitcom, clipping for situational comedy, situation comedy in the U.S., is a genre of comedy centered on a fixed set of characters who mostly carry over from episode to episode. Sitcoms can be contrasted with sketch comedy, where a troupe may use new characters in each sketch, and stand-up comedy, where a comedian tells jokes and stories to an audience. Sitcoms originated in radio, but today are found mostly on television as one of its dominant narrative forms. A situational comedy television program may be recorded in front of a studio audience, depending on the program's production format. The effect of a live studio audience can be imitated or enhanced by the use of a laugh track. Critics disagree over the utility of the term sitcom in classifying shows that have come into existence since the turn of the century. Many contemporary American sitcoms use the single-camera setup and do not feature a laugh track, thus often resembling the dramedy shows of the 1980s and 1990s rather than the traditional sitcom. History. Main articles: History of radio, radio comedy, history of television, and television comedy. The terms situational comedy or sitcom were not commonly used until the 1950s. There were prior examples on radio, but the first television sitcom is said to be Penright's Progress, 10 episodes being broadcast on the BBC in the United Kingdom between 1946 and 1947. In the United States, director and producer William Asher has been credited with being the man who invented the sitcom, having directed over 24 of the leading sitcoms, including I Love Lucy, from the 1950s through the 1970s. By country. Australia. See also: television in Australia and television ratings in Australia. There have been few long-running Australian-made sitcoms, but many US and UK sitcoms have been successful there. Sitcoms are a staple of government broadcaster Australian Broadcasting Corporation, ABC. In the 1970s and 1980s, many UK sitcoms also screened on the 7 network. By 1986, UK comedies Bless This House and Are You Being Served? Had been repeated by ABC television several times, and were then acquired and screened by the 7 network, in prime time. In 1981, Daily at Dawn was the first Australian comedy series to feature a regular gay character, Terry Batter as journalist Leslie. In 1987, Mother and Son was winner of the Television Drama Award presented by the Australian Human Rights Commission. In 2007, Kath and Kim's first episode of Series 4 attracted an Australian audience of 2.521 million nationally, the highest rating ever for a first episode in the history of Australian television, until the series premiere of Underbelly, A Tale of Two Cities in 2009 with 2.58 million viewers. In 2013, Please Like Me received an invitation to screen at the Series Mania Television Festival in Paris, was praised by critics and has garnered numerous awards and nominations. Also in 2013, At Home with Julia was criticized by several social commentators as inappropriately disrespectful to the office of Prime Minister. The show nevertheless proved very popular both with television audiences, becoming the most watched Australian scripted comedy series of 2011, and with television critics. Nominated to the 2012 Australian Academy of Cinema and Television Arts Awards for Best Television Comedy Series. Canada. See also: Canadian humor and television in Canada. Although there have been a number of notable exceptions, Canadian television networks have generally fared poorly with their sitcom offerings, with relatively few Canadian sitcoms attaining notable success in Canada or internationally. According to television critic Bill Brieux, there are a number of structural reasons for this. The shorter seasons, typical of Canadian television production, make it harder for audiences to connect with a program before its season has concluded, and put even successful shows at risk of losing their audience between seasons because of the longer waiting time before a show returns with new episodes. The more limited marketing budgets available to Canadian television networks mean that audiences are less likely to be aware that the show exists in the first place, and the shows tend to resemble American sitcoms, in the hope of securing a lucrative sale to an American television network, even though by and large the Canadian sitcoms that have been successful have been ones, such as Corner Gas or King of Kensington, that had a more distinctively Canadian flavor. Conversely, however, Canadian television has had much greater success with sketch comedy and dramedy series. The popular show King of Kensington aired from 1975 to 1980, drawing 1.5 to 1.8 million viewers weekly at its peak. Corner Gas, which ran for 6 seasons from 2004 to 2009, became an instant hit, averaging 1 million viewers per episode. It has been the recipient of 6 Gemini Awards, and has been nominated almost 70 times for various awards. Other noteworthy recent sitcoms have included Call Me Fitz, Schitt's Creek, Letterkenny and Kim's Convenience, all of which have been winners of the Canadian Screen Award for Best Comedy Series. India. See also: Television in India. Sitcoms started appearing on Indian television in the 1980s, with serials like Ye Jo Hai Zindagi, 1984, and Wagel Ki Duniya, 1988, on the state-run Doordarshan channel. Gradually, as private channels were allowed, many more sitcoms followed in the 1990s, such as Dek by Dek, 1993, Zaban Sambalki, 1993, Shriman Shrimati, 1995, Office Office, 2001, Ramani vs. Ramani, 2001, Amruthan, Telugu 2001, Kichdi, 2002, Sarabhai vs. Sarabhai, 2005, to FIR. 2006 to 2015, Tarak Mehta Ka Ulta Chasma, 2008-present, Uppam Malakum, Malayalam 2015-present, and Babiji Gar Par Hain, 2015-present. SAB TV is one of the leading channels of India dedicated entirely to sitcoms. Tarak Mehta Ka Ulta Chasma is the longest-running sitcom of Indian television and is known as the flagship show of SAB TV. Mexico. See also: Television in Mexico. El Chavo del Ocho, which ran from 1971 to 1980, was the most watched show in the Mexican television and had a Latin American audience of 350 million viewers per episode at its peak of popularity during the mid-1970s. The show continues to be popular in Hispanic America as well as in Brazil, Spain, the United States, and other countries, with syndicated episodes averaging 91 million daily viewers in all of the markets where it is distributed in the Americas. Since it ceased production in 1992, the show has earned an estimated $1 billion in syndication fees alone for Televisa. New Zealand. See also: Television in New Zealand and list of New Zealand television series. Gliding On, a popular sitcom in New Zealand in the early 1980s, won multiple awards over the course of its run, including Best Comedy, Best Drama and Best Direction at the Feltex Awards. Russia. See also: Television in Russia and media of Russia. The first Russian sitcom series was Strawberry, resembled Duty Pharmacy, in Spanish format, which was aired in 1996-1997 on the RTR channel. However, the boom of Russian sitcoms began only in the 2000s, when in 2004, the STS started very successful sitcom, My Fair Nanny, an adaptation of the American sitcom, The Nanny. Since that time, sitcoms in Russia were produced by the two largest entertainment channels of the country, STS and TNT. In 2007, the STS released the first original domestic sitcom, Daddy's Daughters. There were only adaptation before, and in 2010 TNT released Interns, Sitcom, the first sitcom, filmed as a comedy, unlike dominated, conveyor sitcoms. United Kingdom. Main article. British sitcom. See also. Television in the United Kingdom. Although styles of sitcom have changed over the years, they tend to be based on a family, workplace or other institution, where the same group of contrasting characters is brought together in each episode. British sitcoms are typically produced in one or more series of 6 episodes. Most such series are conceived and developed by 1 or 2 writers. The majority of British sitcoms are 30 minutes long and are recorded on studio sets in a multiple camera setup. A subset of British comedy consciously avoids traditional situation comedy themes and storylines to branch out into more unusual topics or narrative methods. Blackadder, 1983 to 1989, and Yes Minister, Yes Prime Minister, 1980 to 1988, 2013, moved what is often a domestic or workplace genre into the corridors of power. A later development was the mockumentary in such series as The Office, 2001 to 2003, 2013. Also coming of age in such series as The Inbetweeners, 2008 to 2010. United States. Main article. Sitcoms in the United States. The sitcom format was born in January 1926 with the initial broadcast of Sam and Henry on WGN Radio in Chicago, Illinois. The 15-minute daily program was revamped in 1928, moved to another station, renamed Amos and Andy, and became one of the most successful sitcoms of the period. It was also one of the earliest examples of radio syndication. In 1947, the first American television sitcom, Mary Kay and Johnny, debuted. Since that time, many of the most watched shows in the U.S. have been sitcoms. Most American sitcoms are generally written to run a total of 22 minutes in length, leaving 8 minutes for advertisements in a 30-minute timeslot. Some popular British shows have been successfully adapted for the U.S. Some of the most successful American sitcoms of the 1970s, including All in the Family, Three's Company, and Sanford and Son, were adapted from British productions.